To begin with some breaking news, some businesses being evacuated because of a broken gas line on Frazee Road near Friars Road. Sky 10 is heading there right now.
Now, San Diego police tweeted out that other businesses are being told to shelter in place in that area. That area has seen a lot of construction over the past few years as Sandag ramps the Friars Road 163 interchange, which is just west of that intersection. It's not clear again how this happened, but we're going to stay on top of it and we'll keep you posted here as much as we can during the show.
Yeah, we'll zoom in on some closer pictures there as we get there. Well, right now, police are searching for the man who shot employees at a Church's Chicken in Otay Mesa. I'm Jim Pat.
I'm Virginia Cha. That's as the community mourns the loss of one of the employees who was killed. 10 News reporter Marie Coronel is there live. Marie, is the restaurant still closed?
Yeah, Virginia, they were supposed to open at 10:30, but we haven't seen anyone. The company did send a statement saying their focus right now will be on the victims, their families, and the other employees. I want to step out of the way, though, and show you that someone has already left a candle right in front of the restaurant in memory of one of the victims. Sadness and disbelief, people describing how they're feeling after learning a man came into this Church's Chicken restaurant off Del Sol Boulevard Wednesday night and shot 3 employees, killing one, a woman who was a team leader. The shooter reportedly got into a fight inside over fake money. Police say he left only to return and start shooting before taking off in this blue car.
How could somebody just be so selfish over a piece of chicken? Hell, I'd buy him chicken. If you're that hungry, I'll give it to you. I got $5.
10 News spoke with the mom of an employee who works at the restaurant. She says her son spoke highly of the woman who was killed, saying she was very nice to everyone.
My son says that she was very friendly, had an outgoing personality, and she was very generous.
Again, here is a picture of the car that the suspect left in. They say the shooter is a black man in his 30s. He's about 6'1" with a thin build, and he was last seen wearing a light blue sweatshirt and a blue Chargers beanie. As for the other 2 victims, at last check, they were listed as stable but in critical condition. Live from Otay Mesa, Marie Coronel, 10 News.
Thank you, Marie. Things are back to normal in Barrio Logan after a train derailed just south of the convention center and hit an overpass. This happened about 2 o'clock this morning. Several BNSF train cars went off the tracks, hitting the support to the overpass on Harbor Drive. Engineers have looked at the structure and they say everything now appears to be okay. It's not clear what caused the train to derail. There were no reports of injuries. Mayors from the U.S. and Mexico are joining San Diego's mayor for the annual U.S.-Mexico Border Mayors Summit. The summit is held every year to strengthen relations and economic ties between the 2 countries and to discuss issues affecting border communities. At this year's 2-day summit, they'll talk about trade relations, infrastructure, and immigration impacts on all border communities. The summit taking place at UC San Diego. 15 border mayors are expected to attend.
Happening today, huge show of support for veterans. The USS Midway Foundation announcing close to $700,000 in grants for dozens of organizations that serve veterans, first responders, and their families. Comes as the Midway Museum celebrates its 15th anniversary. Foundation leaders say they felt it was important to give back.
Anytime we can bring that notion of freedom and defending freedom to life in a meaningful way to help those who have already served and sacrificed and continue to, in many ways, help meet their needs, meet the needs of their families, that is a big part of the museum's vision as well as mission.
More than 80% of the grants will be going to local organizations.
Crime Stoppers and the SDPD are asking for the public's help to track down a man behind a brazen bike theft. Now take a look at this video they released today of the burglary on October 25th. Police say the thief drove right up to the San Carlos carport, pulled some bolt cutters out of his truck in the bed there and cut a lock holding the bike in place. The owner of the bike put up this camera after 2 other bikes had been stolen. They say the value of all 3, $3,000. Crime Stoppers now offering a $1,000 reward for information that leads to an arrest.
Opioids continue to be a growing crisis around the country. Hundreds of experts working to battle the crisis are here in San Diego today, including the U.S. Surgeon General. 10 News reporter Natay Holmes joins us live from downtown. And Natay, Surgeon General saying that getting over the stigma, a big part of fighting this substance abuse.
That's right. The U.S. Surgeon General Jerome Adams did a 20-minute presentation, and he even shared his family's own story dealing with drug abuse and addiction. And he says a big part of he feels that his brother's addiction, like many others around the country, is they feel they simply cannot ask for help. Now, Surgeon General Adams also shared that his brother is serving a 10-year sentence after stealing money to support his habit. Now, hundreds filled the room during the Western States Opioid Summit this morning. The summit brings together experts working to combat drug use through substance misuse prevention, treatment, research, law enforcement, and much more. Now, here in San Diego, DA Summer Steffens this morning shared with me 279 people have died from opioid use in 2018. Although that number is slightly less than in 2017, 92 of those nearly 300 deaths are from drugs laced with fentanyl. Now, Summer Steffens says that they are working to continue to get these drugs off the street, but she also says that 40% of all accidental deaths in San Diego are from opioid overdoses, and those accidental deaths includes incidents like car accidents. Now, the DA's office says that they will continue to work with the DEA to prosecute those supplying and selling these drugs. Live in downtown, Natay Holmes, 10 News.
Natay, thank you. With public impeachment hearings on the horizon, President Trump denying new reports that the Attorney General turned down his request to hold a press conference, saying Trump hadn't broken any laws during his phone call with Ukraine. ABC's Serena Marshall has the latest.
The third administration official to be on that now infamous July 25th phone call between President Trump and Ukraine's president, arriving on Capitol Hill this morning, an advisor to the vice president, Jennifer Williams' lawyer, telling ABC her testimony is expected to reflect what has already been made public.
You know, the American people have the transcript of the president's call, and they can see there was no quid pro quo, and the president did nothing wrong.
Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman, a White House Ukraine expert, previously testified he was so concerned by the phone call, he reported the conversation to his superiors. And Tim Morrison, a top Russia official, told lawmakers he was concerned by the call, but didn't think anything illegal happened.
It's all a hoax. It's a scam.
Overnight, President Trump slamming the inquiry. And this morning on Twitter, Trump saying reports he asked Attorney General William Barr to hold a press conference to say he broke no laws in that phone call with Ukraine's leader. Quote, totally untrue and just another fake news story with anonymous sources that don't exist. Several sources confirmed to ABC News the request and that it was made in September when the White House released its summary of the call. The sources say Barr declined to do it. Next week, public hearings begin, and the American people can hear for themselves. House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff, a former prosecutor, is planning to call just a handful of witnesses in several hearings over the next few weeks. Republicans, meanwhile, continue to criticize the process, avoiding questions on the substance.
The whole process is a joke. I'm not buying into Schiff running a legitimate operation over there.
House Republicans have until Saturday to make their request for witnesses for the public hearings, but if the chairman, Adam Schiff, disagrees with a subpoena request, it'll go to the full committee for a vote. Serena Marshall, ABC News, Washington.
The funerals are beginning today for the 3 American mothers and their children who were killed in the brutal ambush in Mexico. Right now, the remote farm town of La Mora is under a strong security watch ahead of those services. U.S. and Mexican officials are vowing to find the people responsible. And new this morning, we're hearing from one of the family members who went to the area as soon as he heard something was wrong. Julian LeBaron says he was the one who found baby Faith hidden in one of the cars.
So much more awful than any of us could have imagined.
Baby was found alive underneath the seat. The family believes they were intentionally targeted given the drawn-out attack in which the victims were visible. But investigators in Mexico say they believe it was a case of mistaken identity. They are sharing their information with the FBI.